Service to the Lions community. How y'all doing today? How's that, Doug? Is that better than last week?
It's awesome. I feel like it's what the sound you make when you're getting up in the morning when you're rolling over. You just do that same sort of, can't even imitate it.
Like a good stretch noise, like a
Yeah,
good stretch noise. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do. You need to record this thing so that we can, if you were ever not to make it on a Tuesday morning. Yeah.
I love it. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Jeremy. They were in the mastermind on Saturday. I love chatting with those two. They're good guys, man.
Jeremy, he can get a little grouchy though. Jeremy. Just kidding, Jeremy.
Who are you talking to? Morning, Saul. Oh, too funny. How's your weekend?
It was good. I tried not to do much. That didn't work out, but got to see my daughter at school and performing because she's at a music school, so it was good. Nice. Another kind of rainy thing going on, which is pretty crazy. My garage is full. Yeah, although Jeremy Grouchy's like an angry bear in a horror movie with like a bloody paw. That's what I'm thinking. I've been trying to do a tag sale all summer long to unload all these things that my parents gave me and stuff. Isn't that weird? You're supposed to remember us being technicians forever, and you go to the basement where the washer and dryer is, and the adults with these customers would say, "Oh man, this is all my kids' crap after college, and they never came into." It's the other way around for me. My parents downsized, and my garage is full. So,
whoa, that's what it's called. Yeah. Anyway,
wow. I will Google that later, or maybe not.
So my garage is full of appliance parts.
Yeah,
unfortunately, and appliances. Actually, I have a couple random appliances in there, so I gotta fix that.
You need to find one of those eBay guys that'll come with a trailer and give you 20 cents on the dollar or something.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that at this point.
Yeah,
just get out of my door.
That's it. Yeah.
It wasn't a bad weekend. Mike and I were on doing the mastermind on Saturday, and then kind of a little bit low key over the weekend. Trying to add a sound dampening curtain over here because my daughter's room is on the other side of that, so I want to drop a curtain for these morning grinds, or when I have meetings or whatever. And I've had the curtain rods for months. I've had the curtain material for my wife to make for months. So yesterday I got a bug in my butt, like, I'm finally gonna hang the curtain rod. Can't find my stud finder. I had it the day before.
So in one day you misplaced it.
This is ADHD, my friend.
Can I give you some good news? You will find it right after you hang the curtain some other way. It will. You'll get it back.
I did find it about 6 hours after I made that Facebook post.
I'm there you go. Yeah.
I know where it's at. It's in the box with the stuff that I used to hang the curtain.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
So
then ADHD train, I have to pull the whole desk out. It's a big L-shaped desk here. I got to pull it away from the wall to get the ladder there to hang the post. Well, I got to put flooring in. I got to pull the desk out, so I might as well put the flooring in. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
The curtain, dude. Just hang it.
So my wife looks at me and she goes, "Do you really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, are you? I'll help you if you're certain." No, I'm not certain. Okay, good. So just the curtain rod went up and the desk got pushed back and we're good. That's kind of how focus works in my world.
So how does a curtain rod help keep the sound down, by the way?
So the curtain itself is...
No, I know that. You didn't hang the curtain yet?
No, because she has to make it. We had to figure out that it's an adjustable curtain rod, so we had to figure out like the length and the height and all that stuff. Yeah.
All right.
It's baby steps, man. It's baby steps.
That stuff drives me nuts.
So we're talking focus today. What? This will be fun, won't it?
All right.
Yeah, pray us in, buddy. We
All right.
need it
All
today.
right. All right. I see EJ looking for some motivation today. So why don't we get it right from the top? Good morning, Lord. Here we are again. A community of servants getting ready on a Monday morning to go and take care of our customers, to go and take care of our employees, to be the light of the world, to be a true servant, to, as owners, run our businesses in a way that bring profit so that we can provide for our employees and to be an important part of our community. So, Lord God, I lift up all those with burden on their shoulders and in their minds, those who didn't sleep well or started to think about 85 different things going on in their businesses. Lord, I lift up all those people to you. I lift up EJ to you, Lord, and pray that you make clear to him the next 3 steps that he needs to take to help build and grow his business, to stabilize it, whatever he needs, Lord. Help us stay humble, even as we learn and grow our brains and our lids, and we become successful. Lord, keep us humble. Help us remember it all. All that is good comes from you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Oh, Jeremy's a prophetic person today.
No, she's actually going to be putting it together this week. She's got the sewing machine out and everything. So,
all right, everyone. What part of the show are we in here at 4 minutes and 6 seconds? Did you see Zach's eyebrows? He went serious eyebrows on us. No. Seriously, it's going to be this week.
Yeah, it probably won't be. It'll have, yeah. Anyway,
it won't be her. It'll be you. Like you'll decide that flooring is important because I can see your floor. No, I can't see your floor. Never mind.
You know the biggest part about why I haven't gotten the flooring done? That bookshelf. That thing weighs a ton. Like, I got to find somewhere to go with those because I can't just like slide that to put the flooring down. I actually have to like unload that entire bookshelf somewhere.
It's true. It's true. Sounds like you don't need a floor. That's how I would have decided.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah, sure.
All right,
we'll see.
We're done busting on you, Zach.
All right, here we go.
Prove us all wrong, man. Show us the curtain next week.
Focus, right? Focus. Well, you'll notice it because it won't be white anymore. You'll see like the backdrop. Yeah. Anyway, so we're talking focus today, and one of the things that I experienced as a business owner, so I am taking it from the neurodivergent side. So if you don't experience life in a neurodivergent way, you are lucky. Congratulations. ADHD, autism, it's all neurodivergent. We don't think the way normal people think. The thing that drives you crazy when we have conversations, Doug, that's the neurodivergent. Like that mind lapping around.
I use SIFs when I'm dealing with those people. So little acetaminophen.
So it's hard to find focus when you have a mind that works like that. And so you got to kind of figure out what those steps are. One of the things I noticed when I was running my own business, and then as I've come into someone else's business to run, skipping steps, not starting where you should start. So like, I'm going to use this as an example and tell me if this is familiar to any of you out there. Go ahead, drop it in the comments. I need to write an SOP because, you know, all the books and all these podcasts and all this stuff is telling me I got to write an SOP. You're a one-man show or a two-man show. You need to notice and begin to write down the things that you do on a consistent basis so that you can write an SOP. So like, don't skip the step and be like, I have to focus on writing this SOP right now. No, like notice what's going on and begin to refine that so that you can eventually write that SOP. This is me calling myself out because I did the same thing. Like, oh, I have to hurry up and write the way that I want a service call done. But I didn't even know how I did a service call consistently. I couldn't communicate it effectively, right? And so it's just skipping steps. I was focusing on the wrong thing. I was focusing on what everyone else told me I should be doing, instead of paying attention to what I actually should be doing. So that's just like one example. But what is
I
it
think
from your
I
side?
think I would partner with that.
Okay.
The mindset of that old adage, something done good today is better than something done perfect tomorrow, which kind of goes right back to your sound deadening curtain as well, right? So yeah, I think that I love what you're saying, right? Don't get overwhelmed by the process of writing a process. It's already there. You have a process, right? You just need to take note, take note, and then create something very simple and then title it SOP.
Right.
And you're gonna refine that till the day you leave your company or sell your company, because it's gonna always need some evolution along the way.
Well, and that's, yeah, I mean, that's perfectly at my point. Like you have a way that you do a service call, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're kind of like all over the place in the way that you do a service call. But if you don't at least take note and write down, like, okay, so when I went to this washing machine, when I went to this, type of call, I did this and I said this, and I like, there's certain things that are always consistent, like how you handle the customer and stuff like that. That's another story. But the way that you run a service call, right? That's just notice it.
Sure.
Maybe you don't even notice how you answer your own phone. Maybe you don't notice how you talk to a customer. Like, you have to kind of take note of some of those things. So I feel like that's foundational.
It is. And something, once you hand that off to your team, let's say you've got one other tech besides yourself, you give him or her the guidelines of this is how I want it done. You now don't have to oversee and micromanage every step. You do have to check in from time to time, but if you lay out great groundwork and structure for them, you can now focus on something else in your business while you're wearing the hat as a technician and the next step in another direction. But if you are going to try to grow your team without this stuff, you're going to have to kind of come alongside and fix things as you go. So very important to create a process, I think, that will help you be able to not have to focus all your energy in that area after it's done.
And it doesn't have to be perfect to start. I think that's what's so important about the foundational steps, because guess what? Your team is better than you are, or they should be better than you are.
Yes.
Maybe they're not. Maybe that's a whole nother podcast topic. But if you're hiring the right way, your team should be better than you, and that process is going to get way better than you ever could create, because they're going to be like, you know what? I found that if I do it this way, the customer responds this way, and it just seems like it goes so much better. And you're like, why didn't I think of that?
That's right.
Because that's not like, that's how that's supposed to happen. It's okay when that happens. Embrace that. Write it down.
Yeah, I mean, if you are the focus of all the great ideas and new ideas and corrections and steps that improve the business, it's a long, tedious road. There will be sleepless nights, but once you have someone working with you or for you that is creating that stuff as well, it's actually beautiful to be a part of that. Unless you're someone who micromanages everything, I don't think I settle when with some of our leadership team. I want them to make it their own. And sometimes it's not exactly what I would do, but it's good enough. And then we can refine it down the road, or we can hybrid what I was thinking. But sometimes it's not going to work, and I know it, and we don't have the time for that person to learn it. So I will have to carefully let them talk about it and then kind of scrap it and start over. That's happened a couple times this year. And they don't seem too discouraged because I keep praising them for taking charge of the process, and I'm not going to crap on their parade. I'm going to say, well, let's think about the 6 things you put together. What would happen a year from now for this, and they're like, oh, all right, hey, we got something here, some legwork. So I've gone from fixing appliances to fixing broken customers and broken employees to putting that on my teammates and focusing on the building of mindset and process. It's a whole different game. It's a lot of fun, and what's what we all should be striving for. My service manager, I don't think he watches. His name is Brian, but he's right where I was many years ago when I was a brand new service manager. When things started working well and people needed my help less, I started to wonder if I'm losing value in the company. Right. And I started thinking, if I'm not doing that, then what am I doing? I'm not needed here. All these crazy, stupid thoughts in my head. The goal is to make your team below you as independent and successful as possible. That's when you know you're winning, right?
I love it. I love it. That's a good focus path, right? You followed the steps along the way, and maybe it wasn't perfect, right? Like that's never
Right.
is.
No,
but it's okay. It's okay to, and I love what you said. Good enough to move on, right? Getmo. Getmo is my favorite phrase out there. Good enough to move on, right? So you just have to have a baseline, and then you can improve it later. I was reading in that Leap book, the entrepreneurial Gino Wickman, and he says entrepreneurs, it's 70% of a plan with 70% certainty. Rock and roll. Like if you can do that, good to go. And I went, gosh, how many times did I try and have like 100% of a plan and make it 100% per, like, no wonder I was burnt out. Just a random thought in that process. If you have a baseline of focus, baseline of a plan, rock and roll, it's good enough to move on. What are the other things we need to focus on in the day-to-day grind, Doug?
Well, day to day, I feel like can be too much, too small of a focus for me anyway. I think for all of us. I mean, I try to imagine you, somebody like EJ with 3 technicians, and sometimes he's on the road, sometimes he's not. The daily focus that might still be too. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's still too narrow of a focus. I think that our goals and the things that our focus should be on goals. They should be. I'm starting to really appreciate this quarterly approach, and then build your sub goals on the idea of trying to hit what you're striving for by the end of the quarter. Which then all of a sudden my focus is not on Monday afternoon. How did it go today? It's more like Friday afternoon. How did it go this week? Type thing, right? So,
shh, nobody tell Doug. That's what I wanted him to say.
You son of a.
That's the point, though. You can't have the one lesson that I learned in running. Like one of the biggest lessons I learned. If you go with that day-to-day hair on fire as a smaller shop, especially, you are going to burn out. Like it is 100% you will burn out if you continue in that day-to-day mindset. You do need to kind of zoom out a bit and stretch that out to like, how did it go at least this week? How did it go this week, or maybe month, or maybe quarter? Like take some of that stress and that zoom out.
Well, look at Jeremy's comment. To try to live a day-by-day focus on your business, it's going to be really hard to fit your personal life and family in it. And so you really do have to kind of come up 50 feet and look down on the big picture. And if if Monday's a bust or Tuesday's a bust, you still have Wednesday through Friday and the following couple weeks to get the things done that you need to get done, because you need to prioritize. And sometimes the things here that Jeremy's bringing up, like your personal life, your health, going to the doctor, your family, those special events that you can't make up by missing them, you need to build your business sometimes around that. And if you're doing it day by day, you will feel exhausted and a failure. So you definitely need to, focus on a different level. I don't know. For me, quarterly, I'm just doing it this year, more or less. Last year, it was a theory. This year, it's more specific, thanks to my mastermind group. But I don't know. Is there other ways to do it where it's annually? I don't know, but I'm enjoying this idea that we're coming to the end of the fourth quarter. So now I'm thinking about the first quarter, and that's the slow season. This will probably be the second year ever as me leading the company that will be prepared for when the phones slow down, if the phones slow down. And it's a great feeling to be prepared.
So I want a big lesson I learned: never negotiate with emotional terrorists. That's an entirely different podcast. Like, I mean, I literally could have an entire podcast on that. Yes, so I agree entirely. They're exhausting. So this comes to communication with your family. If you are the owner operator and you are currently trying to build a business, have conversations with your spouse, with your kids, like, hey, this is what we're trying to do and this is why. Give them the why. And if they're bought into your why, they're going to understand that for a season, you have to do what you have to do to get to these certain goals so that your family can be taken care of. It's not wrong to take a step back and have family time, but there can be a season where you do have to laser hyper focus on what you're building so that it's sustainable for the future. It's okay. When it crosses into not okay is when you don't have that conversation with your family. If your family is not on board with what you're building, if they don't know the why, if they don't know why you're doing what you're doing, it can create problems from experience.
Yeah, I agree completely. Although I hope we all recognize the precious value of that. And so if you are not seeking deep in your heart your approach to your business and being smart, listen, I make this joke all the time. You've made me read books. My hat size has grown a tiny bit. Thank you so much for that. When I read these books, most of the time there's nothing new in there, but I do get inspiration from time to time. Basically, I've learned through experience many of the things that these authors learned. So I can tell you that you better have a plan with your business. Running around with your head cut off, but first telling your family, hey, I'm going to build this thing, but without a plan, you are wasting precious time, precious memories. So if you keep telling yourself you don't have time to develop a structure, to develop some goals, and focus carefully on the things that are important to you for a period of a season in your business instead of going everywhere, you're wasting your life. So you have to, and if you don't know how to do it, go find a way, right? You just shared before we started that you're looking for some fine tuning, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way,
Well,
mic drop.
yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Like you nailed it.
You're not a mastermind or peer group. I don't know how you're going to do it. It's collaboration of multiple brains of other smart people sharing how they screwed up and how they succeeded, and you adapting their approach to your approach, them kicking you in the ass if you're not doing what you're supposed to do. I've had peers and people in my life call me out for not putting my family first because I'm not being smart with my work. You need all that accountability as well. So yeah, yeah, and I've hired. We both apparently have. I've hired someone to coach me because I really want to be the best version of myself as fast as possible.
Only people who remember how hard you worked is your family, and that's true. And in 100 years, even our families will be forgotten. So
Right.
let that blow your mind. Um, no, it is extremely important to have that level of accountability, and you can't do it without a plan. You can't have a plan. I mean, you can have a level of a plan, but you can't refine that plan or test that plan without a mastermind, without a coach. Coaches need coaches. Like straight up, this is what Doug was alluding to. I hired a coach because on this board over here, like this isn't just nonsense. It's literally the things that I'm processing through in my personal goals, in my family goals, in my business goals. And it took way too long to get to the point that I'm at on that board. It took 2 months to get to the point that I'm at on that board, which coaching people I know is entirely too long to get to where I got to. And I went, hey, dummy. Coaches need coaches.
Yeah.
So I reached out to for lack of a better term, I'm going to call her a life coach. But she understands business. She's a small business owner herself. And so running a coaching practice, she understands how to speak into the things that affect entrepreneurs and business leaders. Like, so yeah, she's going to help me kind of narrow down, refine down. That's right after the grind. I'm hopping on a Zoom with her to have our first session because it was just like, I have like this much of a plan, but I can't test it. I can't, put it through the fire and smelt off. Like if you've ever heard of the refining process in gold, like it's got to go through this intense heat and like slag and crap just burns off and it comes out the other side like this gold brick. So if you have a plan and you're like, I'm going to build a business on this, but it hasn't been refined through a mastermind, a coach, or both, doesn't work. Tried it, didn't work.
You'll get
experience.
You could get there. It just might take your whole lifetime. So why do it by yourself? Why just be inward all the time? I think that my coach, I've known him for a little while as a friend. He knows witchcraft, because he's never given me an answer ever. He always answers my question with a couple questions and then lets me answer those and then gives me a couple more. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh,
I like him already.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's magical. I feel like I'm at Six Flags buckling in. And when I'm done, it has an impact because it's changed the way I think about other things as well. And that's the kind of coach that we need, So very impressive. But you don't need a coach. You just might need a mentor friend. I have a friend in Canada, and he bought an existing appliance business about the size of ours. So he's no joke. And he's got a lot of commitment and money invested into it. Man, oh man, his logic and the way he thinks, I can connect with, but it's different than mine. And it's like us pulling instruments out. It just feels like a harmony. And so there's different places and different times. But I always think about the crowd we might be listening to, those that feel like they're underwater, those who are not focused in one specific direction. All this might just sound like, yeah, that's all nice and well and good, but I don't have time for that. Let those words echo in your heart because you need to.
Yeah, if you don't have time, you need a better plan. That's just personal experience. If you don't have time, it's because your plan sucks and you don't have one.
Chicago boy, we're trying to keep them to listen, not scare them off.
I wish I had someone to say that to me. Like, I'm not kidding. Hey, hey, dude, your plan sucks. I don't think you actually have a plan. Let's work on that together. Let's come alongside together and let's work on that.
Yeah.
That's an invitation. Your plan sucks.
Mhm.
Let's work on it together. We have a great community that that's built. Thank you,
Yeah.
Saul. Thank you.
Good vibes. I need a box of tissue to cry.
No, but really, how you know how many people have sugarcoated crap to you, and it's like I didn't need that. I needed the truth.
Yeah, it's true.
Just just here to kind of give a little bit of
It's
truth.
true.
You don't have
True.
time. You don't have a plan. So
Hey,
let's work on that.
I just thought of something that's good for now, but can be refined later. All right. So, been focusing on KPIs for
Mm-hmm.
the business, and thanks to Ginny Seeley, inspired to create our own org chart of our business, and started to recognize where where we didn't have KPIs in the chart, right? With the road staff and the support staff at the bottom, and then the leadership team, and then the higher leadership team, and then the business owner, and right. We've had KPIs for technicians for I've never felt that. That's why I'm flying to Detroit when I go
I'll
to
give
Las
you
Vegas this
I'll
week.
give you a big hug, Saul. I'll give you a big hug when you come up here.
Yeah, and he's got one of those guns from the 20s behind his back. So be careful.
Listen, just ask Dave Smith how welcoming I am. I get along great with Dave Smith from Marcone, by the way. Anyway, I digress.
So we've had KPIs for Action Appliance, where tech numbers, revenue, callbacks, walks. We've had them for over 15 years, and they were handed to me. Well, I started them, and we would just hand them to the technicians, and we would just look at these KPIs for self-evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who wasn't motivated by it or maybe insulted by it wouldn't look at them at all. But we could say we had KPIs, right? But we didn't have any from the top down. We still don't have like, hey, this is our goal for this year. These are the numbers we're trying to reach for next year. This is the growth we're striving for next year. This is for where we're trying to save money on the expense side. Here is the goal. Here's the plan. To me, that's the KPIs down here will become smarter and more efficient and more specific if we have them starting at the top down. So we've had KPIs for our office staff for over a year, but nothing for the leadership team and nothing for the owners. But I would tell you that we saw good things happen by presenting these KPIs to our teams, the current ones that we have, coming alongside and talking about them. And it's good and it's had an impact. But how much better will it be when we're trying to achieve a destination? We want 4 more techs. We want an extra $500,000 this year. Now we're going to cater those KPIs even better down the road. You know what I mean? It's a sign that the KPIs work, but they're going to work better when we get them completely implemented.
So you're saying it's semi-ineffective, not completely ineffective, but semi-ineffective to set goals for the team when you don't know where the hell you're heading yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe we thought we had one. Like, hey, do better than last year. That's not a goal, right?
And that's that's just a really nice way of saying what I'm saying. Like, you have to have a plan. If you don't have a plan,
right?
Like, it can work, but you're going to be extremely tired. Think about Doug a year ago going, "Oh my god, so tired. Like, I don't even know. I don't have time for this." And Doug is making goals, and Doug is a lot less tired than Doug was 1 year ago.
Yeah, because we can work hard and at the end of a project be so energized that we want to keep going, right? It's amazing how a healthy mindset and the momentum that fills your sails, by succeeding is great, right? Zach, you and Saul totally get off track almost every week on this grind.
It happens. That was just too funny not to share. Welcome to
You know
Chicago.
that Saul sometimes will call me and go, I'm sorry if I like do. It's okay, Saul. You don't have to call me. I love the fact that you and Zach, you know, do this thing. Even though I shared how you can make $1 million business in 1 month, but you missed it, Zach. See, it's not me. Yeah.
No, it is. I having those goals, having those baby steps for yourself along the way, and that was the entire point of today. Like, you have something to focus on for yourself, and then if you're growing a team, have something for them to focus on. But you can't set their goals without setting your goals first. Like, you have to know where you're heading to be able to communicate effectively to a team. If you don't, you will see high turnover.
Yeah. Now, so I will say something just to counter that a little bit, right? If you do the best you can today,
Sure.
instead of striving for perfection, it's not a complete loss. I don't spend a lot of time in pity or feeling guilty or regret. I try to move on really fast. I don't think that Action Appliance would have been able to create goals for the company itself 5, 4, 3 years ago. It was just not possible because of circumstances. I could have set something, but I didn't quite understand or know because of the situation with ownership.
The
So
lid.
exactly. Well, there's that as well, right?
You raised your lid.
I did. I mean, 5 years ago, it would have been, hey, let me just try to do better for less expense. And, but I'm just saying what we had in place, it worked.
Sure.
It wasn't perfect. It was good. So wherever if you need to know where you have to be and where to start. But if you don't have it, start somewhere else. Do that thing that you were talking about at the beginning. You don't have to create this perfect Excel document, Word doc about your process and procedure. Grab a freaking notebook, grab an audio recording, and just go, this is the process to do a service call. Just get it done now. You'll come back and revisit and tweak it. And it's okay to do things out of order if you don't have it in you to do it in order. It all works, Zach. It does,
Sure. It's just you run the risk of burnout, and that's where I'm coming from
Sure.
that side of
Yeah.
doing it out of order for so long and not learning the lessons from people like Doug who are like, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I learned this.
Yeah.
Man, that was like eye-opening. That's how you shorten the learning curve. That's how you prevent burnout, is actually learning the lessons from others that have done it. And that's the side that I'm coming from,
Yep.
having not learned those lessons along the way, running an imperfect plan continuously and never changing that plan, you will burn out.
Yeah.
It will happen. It's because he's reading all those books, Rob.
Actually, Rob's head is really big. Like, he came to Connecticut to visit, and I thought, well, we're in New Haven, so let me bring him a place for pizza. He had to walk into the restaurant sideways to fit his big fat head in there, and people were looking at us. It was definitely weird, but things in Texas are bigger. That's just the way it rolls.
Oh, poor Rob.
Yeah.
Poor Rob.
Yeah.
No. So, at a bare minimum, understand who you are and roughly where you want to head with your company. Have some form of a goal for yourself and your company. Start there. Start with that little basics, and then refine down from there. Start noticing, and as you grow, as you get better, refine that more. Get in those masterminds. Get a mentor alongside of you as quick as possible. Shortchange that learning curve so that you don't go through the pain for as long, right?
I think could there be anyone that would ever watch this podcast that would say, I've learned everything that more or less I can do and be in my life. I am tweaked. I can tweak it. I think, great people, like I was just talking with Dean Landers this past week. I mean, he's still just pushing and pushing to try to be better and smarter and more efficient. And we're growing for the rest of our lives. So whatever we do this year and next year, 5 years from now, we should look back and smile a little bit and go, man, look at how much we've improved and refined and all that jazz. So it's a journey, isn't it?
Always.
Yeah.
And it's a fun one if
Mhm.
you choose to engage in it, for sure. So.
Yep.
Well, guys, hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully we didn't scare you away too badly. Or maybe we did. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you own a Tommy gun? Is that what do they call those
No.
things?
You haven't been able to own a Tommy gun since the 60s when the whole...
I feel like you and Dave Roberts and Bobby Howard all have one, and you guys go to the range together. No. Right.
You New Englanders have like a weird perception on the rest of the country. It's really funny.
Yeah, you're all in the middle, right there. Yeah, but it was a nice one. It was true. Am I tattooed? No, I don't have any tattoos. All right, let's before Rob can really derail us. We got to go now.
Have a good week, guys. We'll see you next time.
Yes.